Gabe, just talk about second half, the valiant effort you guys put up and just coming up short.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we showed some fight, but we talked about it in the locker room just now. Just against a good team like that, you can't be a no-show for a half, and at the end of the day, that's what bit us in the butt. But yeah, we showed a lot of fight, and it was a fun environment, but just came up short.
You talked about the no-show in the first half. What was different in that first half compared to the second?
I mean, we hungry. At the same time, we don't just play like that and just sit down and let that be. That just shows the heart of the team, and just especially knowing that we got a lot of talented guys on the team and everybody's hungry. So we're not just gonna sit there and just be accepting what happened in the first half. We're gonna fight no matter what the situation is.
Guys, to both you guys, the regular season is all about getting to know team chemistry and what you guys are all about. I know losing is terrible, especially at home on a Saturday, but to crawl back into this thing, slowly and then be right there, what does that say about your group right now?
Just the fight. I mean, we got heart for sure. I think everybody saw that in the second half. Like Gabe said, we were pretty much a no-show in the first half, and second half just believing in each other. I was preaching that. We were preaching that to each other, just believing each other, believing. And it works out, but we just came up short.
And Gabe, same with you. You're one of the veterans on this team. A lot of new faces, and to do what you guys did today, that's got to be a real, bright, promising note.
Yeah, it's definitely good to see, but yeah, at the end of the day, we just gotta come out ready to play. But yeah, for sure, it's good to see the fight, and like we said in the locker room too. Like a lot of teams will just crawl in a hole when they're down 20. So to come back and the fans got into it. So like I said, it was a fun environment, but yeah, it just can't be a no-show for a half.
Caleb Lohner came in today, kind of gave you guys a spark. What'd you think about his game today?
I miss my brother. I definitely did. Playing with Caleb last year at Baylor, and just seeing that connection come through on the court, getting him a few easy touches, getting him in the lob and stuff. He helps a lot. He's a fighter like everybody else on this team, so he fits perfectly in.
These Quad 1 games are going to give you a great opportunity, especially going into Big 12 play. What can you learn from this that kind of helps translate that, knowing that it's still a couple weeks away?
Yeah, there's stuff to learn from every game for sure, but yeah, I think at the end of the day we just got to come out ready to play. It's just some nights are like that. I don't know. You can't really put your finger on it why it was like that for a little bit. It just felt like there was no flow for us, but I don't know. I believe in this team a lot. We have really skilled dudes. We play together well, so it's just coming out ready to go every night.
Gabe, Miro, in the first half, I think you guys were about 5 of 16 on layup dunk attempts. Second half, it got a little bit better. Was it something they were doing? Was it just kind of lack of execution for you guys? What did you think was kind of leading to that?
I mean, I had a couple just blown layups, missed that dunk. I mean, that's just never good. So when it's like that, you just got to finish through contact.
Just back riding off that, it's a lot of mental lapses. Just got to be strong with the ball, and just finish with your eyes at the end of the day, and just be mentally ready to go up there and get hit.
Miro, you guys started slow, picked it up a lot in the second half. From the point guard's point of view, what are you thinking as far as when your teammates are not hitting shots? How are you changing, how you create open looks for your guys?
There's nothing that changes at the end of the day. I believe in everyone on this team, from first person to the last person on this team. So, shot or no, I believe in them making them shots and just playing the right way. And then at the end of the day, it's gonna be all right. Like we started making shots and just believing in them, and like Gabe and Mace and everybody on this team, they're gonna make the shots and believe in them. No matter what's happening in the first half, first minutes, they're gonna make them.
Well, congrats to St. Mary's on their win. I thought they played a great game for 40 minutes, and they're a great program. Coach Bennett's a great coach, been there a long time. They are very established in what they do and how they go about it, and they understand how to win. And when we beat them a year ago at their place, you didn't know, and it's a hard place to win, but they end up with a 5 seed in the tournament. So tonight was probably a quad 1 opportunity. And we didn't take advantage of it. But I thought they played great. It just really felt like they do what they do. They capitalize when you make mistakes. And credit to 23. I mean, coming into the game, we knew he'd be he's a factor. He's a talented guy. And it just felt like every time we made a mistake, he made us pay. And, of course, early in the game, we make some mistakes, and he sees that ball go in the hole, and he's hunting shot. Like, he's an aggressive guy. There's a reason he went to Arizona, right, initially. And with his size and his shooting touch, and, he's a 22% three-point shooter coming into tonight. And so, but it looked good. Like, it felt like it was just a matter of time. And sometimes when guys see that ball go in the hole early, man, you start feeling good about yourself. And, he goes 6 for 10 from the three. I think he had I think he was 6 for 22 coming into the game, if I remember correctly. And he goes 6 for 10. And that's what good players do. Good players, good teams that make you pay when you screw up. We just had, especially the first half, it just felt like we had so many just crazy mistakes on both sides of the ball. But I was proud of how we self-corrected. I thought we played a lot more spirited, obviously, in the second half. We made some adjustments right before the half, and certainly in the second half that really helped us. I thought we found out some things about our team. Obviously, it's disappointing when you lose. We did a great job on Marciulionis defensively. That was a big part of our game plan. I thought he had a hard time getting anything really clean, and that was a myriad of guys to do that. But, we were very anemic on offense in that first half, and we shortened the rotation in the second half, just had to eliminate losing with some guys and had to tighten things up, and guys that were going to, play connected on both sides of the ball. So we showed something, in that second half, had many chances to go over the top. We just couldn't cut it to 4, cut it to 2, and we just couldn't get over the hump to finish that game off. And at the end of the day, they scored on 6 of the last 7 possessions. So it's hard to finish a game out, when they score on 6 of the last 7 possessions. So credit to them. Proud of how we got to the offensive boards. I thought Caleb Lohner obviously really brought some things to the table. You could tell he's a little rusty. I mean, he has, just trying to get back into basketball shape and understanding what we're trying to do. I thought Miro Little showed a lot in that second half specifically, and he just kind of keeps getting better and better every game out. And I thought Mason Manson was really good tonight. Did a lot of good things for us on both sides of the ball, and so we just got to keep climbing and keep getting better.
Coach, when you have your a group like that struggling like that in the first half, just what's the message to them?
Yeah, I mean, it can go a lot of ways, right? You can lose your mind, and there was some of that. I mean, not really losing our mind, but like, guys, what are we doing? I mean, we're not defensively, especially, right? Like, no, we were not good on offense that first half, and I think some of that. Sometimes teams that want to score let not scoring affect your defense. Now, I don't know if that was the case. There was certainly some elementary plays by the same couple guys that you just can't have at this level. And we're 8 games in now, so it's 25% of the season. It's like, guys, those mistakes happen 6 weeks of training camp and maybe through a first couple games. Can't be happening in game 8, right? And so it's like, if you can't do it, it's hard to play you. It becomes really simple. But so there's a little bit of that. You got to find out who the competitors are, who can execute a game plan, right, on both ends of the ball, who has real synergy together. But at halftime, it was demanding, but yet trying to put life into your guys, right? You can't have the loser's limp when you're out there. You make a mistake on defense, you turn it over. How many chip shots did we miss in the first half? I mean, just point blank layups. We missed some open looks too. That happens sometimes. But you cannot let that affect your spirit, right? And these guys, when I say these guys, I don't care if it's a player at Utah, a player at St. Mary's, a player at, it doesn't matter. Division I athlete, like some of the best players in the world. And so you've earned the right to go out there and compete, and you got to compete, right? And it's a competitive spirit. Like any guy can look good in a workout. Like some guys look good against bad teams. How are you going to look against good teams? Right? And so you just try to speak life into them and understand it truly is a 40-minute game. I know it's cliche-ish. All the coaches, it's a 40-minute game. Yeah, 60-minute game in football. You got to compete to the end. And we gave ourselves every opportunity. So I just really believe in this. Like when your mind is right, I don't care if it's sports or life or whatever. When your mind is right and clear, your game is right or your business or whatever it is, you get yourself right. So the mental strength and mental toughness and mental discipline, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And I thought we had some Debbie Downers a little bit. Some guys hanging their head with whatever, whether it was mistakes, lack of playing time, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. Bad calls, right? And I'm not saying the officiating was bad. I'm just saying, like, you feel like you're wronged with whatever it is. Like, you got to get over it, man. Like, you got to move on. It's what great teams do. It's what great players do. So at halftime, it was a few adjustments, and then you're just trying to speak life into your team, right? Because I thought we had a really good week this week. Like, we really did. Now, it looked like we didn't practice all week in the first half, right? But we did self-correct, and we were able to come out and make a fight out of this thing, and that's what it's got to look like all the time for this team, because we're in the best league in the country.
Maybe you answered it in that, but with Mike, obviously he was one of those guys that didn't get a lot of playing time. What kind of changed for him from what you've seen previously to this game that made that hard?
Yeah, Mike. He's got to play better, and the last couple games out, he hasn't been maybe his best. So sometimes what's your confidence level like, right? But like some of those turnovers, and you got to be able to guard, and there's got to be synergy out there. Everybody loves playing with Mike, and I've said that many times, but he's got to perform better. And so, you're not trying to single him out. Obviously, we didn't start him in the second half. Just felt like we had to go with a different look because obviously, what was going on in the first half wasn't real effective.
Obviously not conditioned, like you said, but Caleb obviously gets a lot of your trust, especially in that second half with his physicality. What did you see from him that gives you optimism going forward, and how does his role kind of fit with Keanu and how those two play?
So we got to work that out. I said this thing after the last game. Sometimes you can play too many guys, and I believe in these guys. I do. I probably see the good in everybody, maybe to a fault, but you got to perform. And so specifically to Caleb, my gosh, he's had 2 practices, and he didn't even really know if he was going to be in the first of the 2. So it's like, there was a lot. He's trying to absorb a lot. But I remember Caleb. He told me this is an interesting comment. Now, first of all, he's got elite feel. Maybe not. He's got really good feel for the game, and he's a true veteran. He's played for 4 years at a really high level. 2 years at BYU. I think they made the NCAA tournament both those years. Maybe not. 2 years at Baylor. Really high level program. Didn't play a lot, but think who he's going against every day in practice. Dude's a competitor. You don't just go play football randomly. Oh, I'm going to go play football. You know what I mean? And by the way, I'm going to play basketball. Who does that? So it tells you about his toughness and his edge and how he competes. And, of course, he's a freaky athlete. Everybody sees how high he jumps, but, his ability to cover ground is just crazy. He really impacted this game. It was obvious. Got tired late. So we're going to really be able to help him, I think, with some things offensively. I think he can play multiple positions. But we're going to be able to expose maybe some mismatches that it was hard to kind of do this when we're doing it so quickly. All of our guys are learning how to play with him. He's learning how to play with all of our guys. So there's a lot to consume there. But you saw what he does. He rebounds at an elite level. He really can guard. There's just a lot that he can do on the floor. KD just got to keep climbing, man. I know the last couple games he hasn't played as much. I thought he did some really good things in that first half, but we obviously shortened down our rotations in a big way. The other guy that I thought really competed and impacted the game in the second half was Zach Keller. It doesn't necessarily show he made a good little finish in the paint, but just defensively, his ability to move his feet, he can really move for a guy that's 6'10". But he's another guy that you're just slowly working back because he didn't do anything for 7 weeks. So this week, a big thing was just we got to get you back in shape. We just got to get you in shape. But I thought his second half, he didn't play in the first half. So sometimes guys go in a hole when that happens, but I thought he performed and did a good job.
Can I ask one more? Coach, if I'm not mistaken, there's a whole week off between this game and then your next opponent. With it in your players' minds, what they were able to do today, be left for dead and then get back into a game, how valuable could the week of practice ahead be?
Well, it needs to be valuable, first of all. There's no choice, and that's what I told our guys afterwards, right? We're going to find out a lot about this team. We had a full week, like you said, we had a full week off this week, which I thought was really needed. And now we get a full week again to really incorporate a lot of guys, and we got to make some decisions, like who, not that it's final, but like who's performing, right? And so obviously now with Caleb playing, that this week was going to be really beneficial, I think, to get Caleb in shape, but also to develop some real synergy, and then really watch him, and how can he help us and be a really effective player, and put him in scheme that can help. So it'll be huge, and we need this, right? We've come off a disappointing loss, even though we did play very well in the second half, but you got to play 40 minutes. So if they're not going to show up ready to compete, I think that tells you something about them, right, as a competitor. So I'm confident that we'll have an awesome week of practice, and then we have 3 big games coming up. But we negotiate finals week. There's a lot of other stuff going on, so we got to be able to figure it out. But I'm excited. It's how I ended with the locker room. I was like, I'm excited the trajectory that this team can go. But it's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us.